Eric, thanks very much. Waiting for that testimony, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The Treasury Secretary, as you said, whole host of regulators, other members of the financial sector testifying today. I'm joined right now by Eric Hovde. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Hovde Capital Advisors here in Washington. Oversees a long-short hedge fund, about $1 billion, also a private equity firm as well. Eric, as always, appreciate the time. I've gotten you to weigh in on the regulatory fight a couple of times now over the past couple of months. But let me ask you first of all, because I know this is important to you as well. The GDP number that just came out, what do you make of it?
Look, it's a byproduct of the cash for clunkers. It's a byproduct of a little inventory restocking and the housing market picking back up a little bit again. I think it may be the best GDP number we're going to see for a while, but look, it's positive. I like it.
All right, let's talk regulatory reform right now. Are you satisfied with what you see coming out of Congress, the Obama administration, in terms of trying to rewrite the rules of the road after the financial crisis?
Not at all. We stand a year out. We have not addressed commodity speculation. We have not reined in the CDS market. We're still dealing with the too big to fail issue. So many of these issues were a year later, and we haven't brought completion to them. And that should have been the very first thing that this administration addressed.
Today, the big focus is institutions that are too big to fail. There's a new approach from the Obama administration. Again, this Council of Regulators, the opportunity for large firms, systemically important firms, to have their capital liquidity standards changed by the Fed. You don't think it goes far enough, do you?
No, I don't. I think there has to be meaningful restrictions to getting too large to cause systematic risk to the system. Not only it's heightened capital levels, and they haven't even addressed what those heightened capital levels are going to be, which, by the way, let's remember, these are the guys that blew up the system that were able to take their leverage to 40 to 1 or 50 to 1. Now they've, yes, increased their capital, but most of them still aren't capitalized where a community bank is. But you have to put restrictions on their liquidity levels, how often they're examined. A whole series of issues have to be brought about to really rein in the too big to fail and not have this constant bailing out of the same institutions every 15 or 20 years.
You're an investor in smaller community banks right now. Is your argument the big banks should be broken up? We should go back to Glass-Steagall, perhaps?
Look, Glass-Steagall was put in place for a reason. And it's interesting that 15 years after Glass-Steagall, give or take the years, we're right back in the same soup where we were back in the Great Depression. Not to say we're at a Great Depression level, but the same type of crisis got brought about by giant institutions that had banking and investment banking and other practices rolled under one roof. So yeah, I think we have to not necessarily go all the way back to Glass-Steagall, but look at elements of that and try to segment these businesses. I think it's wrong that you have a company like Goldman Sachs that all of a sudden got bank holding company status, then got a waiver from the Fed to take more proprietary capital risk. And what if that proprietary capital bet went wrong? The government would have been bailing them out again after they just bailed them out.
All